Should be live now. Yeah, so we're just gonna be sneaking in Vicky2 Guerrilla tonight. This is a Guerrilla I wanted to do last night, but then my internet cut out, which was awful. No, not posting about this on Twitter, not posting about this in any secret clubs or anything. Just you're either here or you're not, and if you're not here and you wanted to be here, I'm sorry that you missed it. Maybe we'll do this again in the future. I'm just talking for the VOD right now. I see that somebody's joined me already. Hello, CC Hime VTuber. This is a late night streamy. So this is the name Victoria refers to the Victorian age, Queen Victoria. Yes, that is you. Hello, how are you doing tonight? This is a grand strategy game. Oh god. Hello, Egg. How did you get here? Don't tell me Twitch notifications actually work today. Oh, you're gonna be using me as background audio. Very nice. I wish the music was working, but maybe it's better that the music isn't playing right now, since the music is very loud. So, anyways, you ask, what is this? This is Victoria 2. Egg could probably explain it better than I could, since he plays a lot of it himself. He's an excellent, comfy VTuber as well. He's a PNG of an egg. You should check him out if you are into grand strategy as a genre. But this is a grand strategy game released by Paradox quite some time ago, and then promptly abandoned after one expansion was released for it. But it's still an interesting game. We're playing with something called the Historical Provinces mod. At least I think that's the title of it. The acronym is HPM, which adds a lot of countries in West Africa to the game, some in South Africa, and generally cleans up the map historically. I think it also adds a few events and decision chains, but anyways, this is a grand strategy game set in the Victorian era, so basically from the dawn of steam power all the way up until, I think, the end of World War I. Don't quote me on that. I'm not an expert. But, I kind of want to play in Europe today, or maybe torture ourselves with Brazil. Ah, Elliot, that's what we're deciding right now. I was just about to ask if anybody in the chat would like to pick between Sardinia Piedmont or Belgium. All of my test runs through the game to make sure that this would work and that I'm not a total incompetent have been with Sardinia Piedmont and 2 Sicilies. Unless you have a nation suggestion, please do not suggest a primitive nation. The power of the waffle. Belgium it is. Now in my testing, this didn't crash during a load, but I've had it crash during loads outside of my testing. So hopefully, yes, all's well and good. We are the small waffle nation, and we have a disproportionately large military to our size. And please let me know if the music is too loud, because I find the music in this game quite loud sometimes. Now, I don't believe Belgium has any colonial possessions at this time. No, we only have continental Belgium, and a bit of meta-knowledge. Music in the back is a little loud. Alright, let's see if we can fix it in the game options first. Is that any better? For the music volume. Because that sounds a lot better to me already, but I don't know what you're hearing. Ah, good, much better. Ah, you play Civ, Elliot. I've heard some people refer to Civ as a real-time strategy game before, and those people are wrong. It's quite funny. Every time I see somebody call Civ an RTS, I laugh a little. Yes, we do have enough supply to stack all of our troops in one province, as is customary. We start out with a decent literacy rate, which means that we won't be researching, we won't be awful at researching. Oh, you're telling me to shut up, CC. I see. I see. You must have done that in the past at some point then. Because I'm referring to some other people that consider Civ an RTS. Oh, it's okay. I also only have 2 brain cells. They're trying their hardest. So you can see here the technology panel split up into categories: Army, Navy, Commerce, Culture, and Industry. Culture mostly has to do with increasing prestige, which is basically only used for the great power and secondary power mechanic, I believe. But other than prestige, the culture tree is for research and national focuses. Oh, hello, Guardian. How are you doing tonight? Welcome to the Guerrilla Victoria stream. Oh well, that's just simultaneous action. That's not real-time strategy. Oh, and Egg, you've been shilled before calling CK2 an RTS. That's quite funny. But we need to pick initial research here, so a little bit of meta-knowledge. There will be a war with the Netherlands almost immediately. I don't know what the time frame is on that, but having better infantry weapons, or just better rifles in general, would probably be most helpful for that. So we're going to queue up rifles first, since we already have level 1 railroads. So I don't know what the economy of Belgium looks like right now, but it looks to be producing a lot of coal. Yes. I believe we can check the production tab to see how much we're producing daily. Guardian, you can't remember the name of the song. Well, try to get the gist across anyways. What's the shitpost you were trying to make? I'm quite curious now. Yeah, so it seems our primary production and export is, of all things, coal. And our factories don't exactly reflect that and should be subsidized so they don't close. The one good thing I see here is a cement factory, and a cement factory operates entirely on coal. And this is not something that I know, but it's something that I will infer, is that when everybody's building things at the very start of the game, the first 10 or 15 years, cement is a hot commodity. So we probably want more people producing cement. So we'll crank that up to high, and then I don't believe it would be a good idea to build another cement factory. But if we change to the reactionaries in the politics page, we should be able to check the price on a cement factory. If we can even build one. There it is. It would be quite cheap, but we can only have one per state. Show empty states. Sort by factories. Oh, Love Me Again. I don't believe I've heard that song, Guardian. Ah, yes, Elliot. This is a period strategy game. So the year is 1836. We are past the Renaissance. Rifles are the main armament. There's no primitivity here outside of Africa, anyways. So before building any factories, I think we'll just set it to play and see how our economy does by itself. I believe I have forgotten to game the sliders Yes, everything goes to the very top. Because that screen, the budget screen, is a bit of a joke. Yes, goods do get used up very quickly at the start, especially machine parts and other building resources like cement. There's not a lot of global stockpile because so few are producing them. So we're still operating at a loss. And before that loss gets any worse, I want to know how many people are in the Belgian Rhineland and Zeeland. The Belgian Rhineland and Zeeland are far too depopulated to house any factories, so if we wanted a second cement factory, it would go in Wallonia. It should be quite cheap. However, this will probably be very expensive and take a very long time. What are the capitalists up to? Oh, they're just building railroads. This is... I'm probably doing a very poor job of explaining any of this. I don't believe I've explained any of this, actually. Basically, this whole game works off of little units of population called pops. They're all tracked individually with culture and what jobs they have. And basically, the only real thing that matters is what proportion of a given area is a certain population. And also, this is reminding me to set national focuses. How many do I have? I should only have... Oh, I have 2 right now because I have 1 million population. Okay. So we'll be encouraging intellectuals because that, as you can see by this very small text on the screen, we want to have... Well, the game says 2% intellectuals, but I've heard 4%. So you really want 4% intellectuals and 4% or so clerks to maximize your research points and to cement that those demographics don't shift too much on their own. Oh, and yes, doing too much explanation would prevent me from playing it almost entirely. You're right about that, Elliot. How do I feel about Civ 5 or Hearts of Iron 4? Hearts of Iron 4 is a touchy game for me since I'm not very good at it, and 2, I don't really like it that much outside of its concept. It doesn't play right in my eyes as a military simulation. It's again, more of a map painter. Victoria 2 is the least map paintery of all of Paradox's grand strategy games, and Civ 5... I'm just not a fan of. Civ 4 was the perfect Civ game in my eyes, and they just ruined it by switching from squares to hexes and from stacks of any size, which was quite busted and strange, down to 1 unit per tile. Should have been more like crafting divisions. They could have done something better than restricting 1 unit to 1 tile. Yes, Beyond the Sword Chads here. Modding community, rise up. Maxor's vid. I don't know what you're talking about, Zed. Anyways, we'll unpause again, and I saw the money go very green for a couple seconds there. It was about plus 300 for a couple seconds, so people must be buying raw coal at some point, and then the negative right now should mostly be from stockpile spending. Although I'm not seeing construction materials in the stockpile budget. Oh, and we're also subsidizing all our failing factories at the start. Oh, there's 10,000 craftsmen in Wallonia. These factories are not nearly enough for them, so that cement factory can't come soon enough. I believe expanding factories also takes materials that we don't have. Oh, I'm distracting you from your game, CC. I'm sorry about that. I hope you're having a fun time in Risk of Rain. I assume you're playing the second one and not the first one. Yes, the one unit per tile restriction in newer civs is very disappointing. And we're not paused here. I'm just taking a look at this to see. I think the best factory to expand here would be the steel mill. Although it would take up half of our money right now. And the cement factory is getting built. It did get the materials it needs, so those workers will have to stay unemployed for the next 5 months or so while that factory gets built. In the meantime, we can fund private railroad projects so that more of our country gets railroads. And I myself will build a couple of railroads in the coal-producing provinces, because coal is a very nice resource. Oh wait, we have very low administrative efficiency. Our bureaucrats are very easy to get up. We should get that set in order first. Should only take a couple months. Ah yes, Risk of Rain 2 is a very fun game. I quite like it, even though I'm not the best at it. So we are right now actually next in line to enter the Great Powers list. Although our total score is 44 and the score of 8th place is 98. So we're close, but we're quite a long straw away. Yes, Skiller, it's imperialism time. We're going to go and subjugate the Congo at some point, hopefully. All of this uninhabited or uncivilized jungle will be ours in 45 years or so. Ah, yeah, it's not even to stream. Risk of Rain 2 is just a very fun game. It's worth playing. Yes, the administrative efficiency is slowly improving in these states. Oh! Prussia. We own land that is, we own Luxembourg. Oh no. Prussia might come after us for that later, since it's part of a state that he has. This Cleves Aachen Trier state. Yeah, it's a very basic pick from me, but I quite like playing the commando in Risk of Rain 2. Ah, an unavoidable event. Very nice. Well, nothing we can do about that, so we'll just let it happen. Basically, that event makes people mad that we are, I believe we're a monarchy. A constitutional monarchy. They're mad that we have a king. Oh, and we're making some money now, finally. Yes, the cement factory is doing well for us. And it is already filled to bursting. Plurality is good, it gives us a few research points. Oh, and the capitalists want to build a winery. Well, that's cute. We'll give them the money for that. But anyways, yes, pops can act independently. Like, capitalist pops will want to build infrastructure and factories to make themselves richer. But really, all that money runs to the state, anyways. Oh, subsidizing is how you make money, though, Skiller. Otherwise, these factories would just kill themselves slowly over time, like this, instead of eventually being profitable. Ah, yes. Got it. The alcohol must flow, like the spice on Dune. Alright, so now that we're profitable, we're a little more comfortable just spending money and chucking it out the window. And that wasn't a very short-term profitability thing, so the second cement factory, I think, was a good blind pick. We do have just a handful of unemployed craftsmen here, so we could expand that cement factory since we're not consuming all of the coal that we produce as a nation. And I think we'll do that. Oh, they want another steel mill? except in the Rhineland, where there's nobody to work. Oh god, I didn't check where they wanted the winery. This is a terrible move. Factories where there's nobody to work them. So Egg, could I ask you a meta question here? Do you remember exactly when the Netherlands decides that Belgium is their rightful clay? Yeah, the ones that won't make money on the world market will go out of business, Skiller. You're right about that, but I find that micromanaging the factories is something that I'm not a fan of. So I find it easier to just set to subsidize and try to get a greater profit overall instead of min-maxing the bottom line. Luxembourg could do with a railroad. That's nothing to be ashamed of, Skiller. Min-maxing is an admirable trait. It'll win you a lot of competitive games. We get some random prestige from a Flemish-related event. 1838, Hendrik Conscience, the most popular Flemish-language novelist of the 19th century, published one of his two masterpieces. I will butcher this lowland title, De Vlaams Leeuw, the Flemish Lion. The other was De Lootling. I am sorry if there is anybody from the Low Countries here. The story of the oppressed Flemish population that stood up against the French oppressor in the Battle of the Golden Spurs of 1302 was quickly adopted by the Flemish movement and is a symbol for Flemings even today. Oh, they have a truce until 1939. Ah. Oh, but the UK will piece you out. Oh, that's a little lame. Yes, I don't really want to lose Luxembourg, since it's a coal-producing province, and a nice one at that. But having a state with only 40,000 population is kind of bad, so I wouldn't mind losing it. And I'm not going to put any money into it except for the railroad for the short-term gain of the extra coal. Lose militancy, but people want more voting rights. That's fine, because voting rights get more immigrants, and more population is more power. Oh, you lose Limburg also. Well, that's fine, since that's another one-province state. I would rather fight and win against the Netherlands and take as much territory from them as possible, if that's even possible. Though I know not if that is possible. At this point, I see that our military is not maxed out. I don't think we have any good troop types to fill it out with, and some of those populations are from territories that, as Egg mentions, we stand to lose. Oh yes, and we're done maxing bureaucrats in Flanders. By quite a large margin, actually. I should have paid more attention to that. So we can go back to intellectuals there. Now, Liège has one more army unit, and I think the best thing we could build for attacking would be dragoons right now. Or I'm quite sure that artillery is kind of bad right now, but backline support in Paradox's combat engine is usually good anyways. I think the artillery is more relevant in the long run than cavalry anyways. So we'll commission an artillery unit. I don't even know if we have artillery. We have one unit of artillery, so a second unit of artillery would be nice. Yeah, I don't really care if the Netherlands has cores on us. Since the AI... Oh, what is this? Oh, we're just building a railroad there. Yeah, since the AI tends to not really act on that unless it's in a position of absolute power. Yeah, we can take you off of bureaucrats also. The people want... We're already quite democratic. Well, since we can appoint ruling parties getting the extra 1% immigration attraction off of secret ballots wouldn't be bad. I have yet to utilize the mobilization mechanic, which is where you turn civilian pops into draftees. Consciousness over militancy, thank you. So decreasing the draft to 2 years removes some of the immigration attraction penalty. So I think we'll do that first. Oh, Netherlands will declare if we're not protected or a great power. Ah, thank you for that information. That encourages me to get my industry rating up more. Or I can, anyways. I think Wallonia would get the next factory or factory expansion. So we have an arms factory that needs more ammo, and we have an ammo factory that needs more sulfur. And I don't think there's any sulfur here where... I know there's some... Yes, we have essentially no opportunity to get sulfur that's not on the world market, so there's nothing that we can be doing for that. We can take the priority off that cement factory now. You know what? I think we just want to expand this ammo factory regardless, since it's capped out, just like the arms factory. So if this is... Oh, that stockpile's building slow. We can only do one of these at a time. It would take too long otherwise. Spain wants to ally us. I don't see why not. Oh. That 33 stack of rebels is why not. And we got our rifle tech. The next rifle tech won't come along for 12 years, so we can avoid that for a while. We want to be open for idealism as soon as it's available, basically. But in the interest of becoming a great power, we'll get this romanticism tech, which is basically just for prestige, as far as I can tell. Taking a sip of water there. Sorry, my mouth's quite dry. Leah's just still working on that military unit. Oh, and there's this list in the upper right of things that are going on, and don't worry. In 20 or 30 in-game years, that will become unreadably long, in all likelihood. And now the hassle of the first few steps of the game is mostly gone. This is mostly going to be a sitting around and waiting stream, because that's how some great strategy games play sometimes. You just sit and watch things happen. Ah, yes, you can definitely do that, Egg, but I'm not an expert at managing the I believe it's called the outliner. I'm not an expert at managing this. Yes, it's called the outliner. I'm not an expert at managing this in any Paradox game, let alone Victoria 2. So I just let it get as cluttered as it would like to be. We have another political reform to pass here. We could give people more voting rights. Or we could institute trade unions for immigration attraction. Oh, the construction ones aren't needed. You're almost right about that. But I like watching numbers move sometimes, especially in this game when you have a lot of railroads being built at one time. That list just gets so long, and there's a bunch of numbers ticking down, and it's just satisfying to look at all the numbers go down from, I think it's about 180 to 0, and it's just so nice. Just tickles my brain. An ammunition factory is now being expanded. Oh yes, the sound effect spam is also quite delightful. Railroads take 1,080 days to build. That doesn't sound right. Did I say 1080 instead of 180? If I did, my brain must be on fire. Oh god, yes, ports and forts take forever. I almost don't want to think about how long those take to build. And so the steel mill is just waiting on something. And we have more money than we could ever know what to do with ourselves at this point. Oh, and we're in contention for great power already. 8th rank. Well, that's nice. That prestige tech might not have been necessary. Oh, I believe this is the event that Egg mentioned. Treaty of London. In a meeting mediated by the British, the Netherlands has offered to sign a treaty which would see them relinquish all claims to Belgian territory at the cost of surrendering Luxembourg to them as a vassal state. Some are claiming this is too high of a price and that we should not allow ourselves to be bullied into such a treaty. But this may also be one of the only chance we have at peace with the Dutch. Now we could gain 2 infamy and probably start a war with the Dutch, or we could lose 20 prestige and some valuable clay that is, I believe it's currently adding to our... Does Luxembourg have a factory yet? No. Limburg would also be seeded, I think. And Limburg has a factory. So yes, we'd be seeding up a lot of our... a lot of what's allowing us to technically be a great power soon-ish by 1 point. Unless Spain does something. So I think we want to get into a shooting war with the Dutch and their filthy windmills. How do you feel about that, chat? I believe we're going to be pulling a Quixote and shooting at some windmills now. Cece says, "Yeah, fuck the Dutch." Yes, in this instance, the Dutch are welcome to receive their due fucking. Ah. How many people are we at war with right now? Oh god. That's not good. Diplomacy tab. Show wars. Oh, Prussia declared for Luxembourgian freedom. I see. I mentioned this. I was worried about this. Oh no. I thought it would just be the Dutch. Well, I don't believe we can instantly surrender. Oh, they would accept peace immediately. Without Luxembourg being handed as a vassal to the Netherlands. And it's just Luxembourg. I think we do take this. Yes, they do want to sphere Luxembourg. So I think we send Great Britain the peace offer. Yes, and we shouldn't be at war now. Yes. According to our peace treaty with Prussia, we must give up lands that rightfully belong to another nation, but only those lands. Blah, blah, blah. Countries that are not Belgium, not Prussia, any owned province, Belgium core, province control change in the last 30 days, we'll get our land. Okay, so Luxembourg gets a land event. and the Dutch will still try to fight a war with us eventually. Do we have a peace treaty with Luxembourg? Yes, we have a truce with them, but only for a year. But I don't think... Yes, we lose the core on that land. Oh, this is a cleanup event since... Yes. There's a lot of messy code and improper event descriptions in this game, I've noticed. It's just a polish thing, it's not buggy. It's just events that would be cleaned up to show their effect only. In Europa Universalis 4, for example. In Victoria 2, will have their full conditional tree shown that you would normally only see in a debug view. So, only Luxembourg, no great loss, a bit of coal, a bit of money from a railroad investment. But that does knock us out of the great power rankings by 1 point. So hopefully Romanticism will come along soon. Ah yes, polish is the job of the modders when it comes to Paradox. You're right about that, Egg. And that's a good quote, Skiller. Polish. We don't need polish if it works. Somebody should have told them to not do that with the Rome game, Imperator Rome, they released recently. Now, I really want to get... Oh, we have Trinket Healthcare from the start of the game. Ooh, that's nice. I really want to get the school reforms, though. And I am unsure the best way to get social reforms on the line as soon as possible, other than this, obviously, the trade unions, political reforms, which increase social reform desire. So I will keep pushing that slider until they let me get really good schools so that we have slightly better education. Because I really like seeing tech trees filled out and seeing techs that I can research that I can't research before I get new techs. Like this, it bothers me a little. Oh, come now, Skiller. We're in Europe. They will get militant, and you can use that to convince conservatives to vote for social reforms. I don't quite understand the logic there. I believe... Actually, no, I do understand what you mean. They get mad, and then they demand the social reforms, so we can click the social reforms button. Is that what you mean? I don't believe... but I didn't check. Yeah, see, less than 1% of the population wants these trade union reforms. So I don't think that's affecting... that pushing those unwanted political reforms, I don't think affects that militancy. So they're still going to be demanding political reforms as fast as I can push them. I think. Yeah, the real autism in this game is in the, yeah, see, they want universal weighted voting, which I will never give them. Giving the poor people an equal vote to the rich is tantamount to consigning yourself to irrelevancy almost. Especially if your political demographics lean liberal, you will never be able to have the hands on your economy that you need to have to make things happen if you let the liberals get into power and can't push them out. And yes, I would like to avoid killing Pops as much as possible. What I would really hate to see is there's an event chain that I don't know if it happens in all of Europe. Sorry. I don't know if it happens in all of Europe. I believe it's called the Springtime of Europe. Or just the Springtime, I'm not sure. that makes people really want to be liberals, and then eventually socialism comes about, I think, in 20 years, and you have a recurring decision that massacres like 5% of your pops repeatedly if you click the wrong button. I really don't like that one. Ah, yes, Springtime of Nations, not Springtime of Europe. Thank you, Skiller. So we're just sitting here being profitable as Belgium, researching things and waiting until we can become a colonizer, or waiting until we can war with the Dutch, essentially. Oh, Brussels has military pops it can't support anymore. Is that right? Oh no, that's just a supply map. Since I had some folks selected, I think. Why is this red? Oh, people are leaving Brussels? Why would that be showing on the recruitment map mode? Anyways, I'm confused. I just want more army units. 27,000 infantry, we could stick another cannon behind that. Was that a revolting? No, just an election. And another... I think we get guards with the next technology. Yes, breech-loaded rifles. 1850 is when we get guards. Oh, and it's 1840, so our next tech has to be the research point increasing tech. Oh, we have like a 999 soldier pop? Oh no, that's obnoxious. Okay, so we're done with this prestige tech. Idealism is unlocked. It gives us plus 50% to the base research points. Where you see from improved technology, that's where the modifier will go. So we'll start on that immediately. Only, yeah, 1 month off as soon as we could research it. That's pretty good. Yeah, quick soldier focus would fix it, you're right. Soldiers. 7, 21, 6, 35, okay. If that doesn't fix it, I don't care. That fixed it. Okay, we're good. And we can build a couple armies here. Or just one? No, it says we can build 2. Alright. Well, since we don't have... We can build Flemish artillery. Oh god, what's the difference? I don't think there is... Oh, Dutch artillery. Oh, there are Dutch pops here. We don't like the Dutch. Do we? Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm getting 4% clergy right now. Right now we're at 3.6 in our most populated province, and 3.1 in our second most populated. And then this is our third state that we don't really care about since it's only 67,000 people. So how does soldier pop culture affect the performance of soldiers? Will they defect if they're... Will Dutch soldiers defect to the Netherlands if we're in a war with the Netherlands? That would be interesting. In any case, I would like another artillery unit at the very least. Ah, nationalists will defect. Ooh, I see. See, there's some depth to the pop system that I don't quite get in this game. They still want political reforms. Well, we'll give them more trade unions that they didn't ask for. There's your reforms. Take it or leave it. Ah, yeah, you voter rights people can go screw yourselves. You're not getting more rights to vote. You can already vote if you have money. What more do you want? Just go work in a factory and be not poor. I'm talking to the pops here, of course. Oh, and the Austrian Empire, yes. The first game I ever played of this, I thought it was normal for Hungary to break off of Austria within the first 10 years. and for the Ottomans to not collapse at all. I don't know what kind of crack the game was smoking at that point, but that is definitely not what's normally supposed to happen. I don't care about your issues, do what you want. That newspaper pop-up that I really quickly dismissed is a slider between two values. If you hit the middle option, it splits it evenly. Or as evenly as it can get with a dice roll, I think. So if you don't really care, just hit the middle button on those and you'll be fine. Oh, we have foreign factories now. That would be weird. We have basically no prestige now. I think from having that strange war where they pointed guns at us and we just handed them the land. But we're within 9 points of Spain for 8th place. And I don't think we really have enough population to really effectively pump our industry numbers, but we can expand to these full factories at least. There's a project there, but it dismissed itself or funded itself immediately. Ah, yeah. So since this is a Guerrilla, I didn't really bring anything to talk about, but for those of you in chat that would like to speak, please feel free to ask me any questions whatsoever. Doesn't have to be related to the game. I'm here to talk with you guys until I give out, basically. Flanders is a little bit over 4% on the intellectuals now. I'll get to like 4.02 and then swap. I think swap to clerks is what you're supposed to do. Oh, what's a guerrilla? Ah, that's you'd be familiar with the term if it wasn't phonetic, I think. Like that guerrilla, guerrilla, like guerra. It's like an incognito stream. I didn't make any special announcements about this or anything, and this isn't scheduled. I'm just doing this. Oh, and you liked the aggressive Alaric, you heard. Ah, I see. So they're still asking for voting rights, and we're not going to give them voting rights. We're going to give them a 2-year draft. Getting rid of that minus 5% immigration penalty. Guerrilla. Yeah, like that. Ah, see, now there's 3 different movements about wanting to vote. There's the voters' rights people, which are kind of looks like they're almost ready to rebel there. There's the suffrage movement, which is essentially the same thing, and then there's people that want political representation, which I would assume are angry about not being able to vote. Yeah, fuck the voters. They don't need to vote. This is a monarchy. What we say goes. Yes, they're definitely dipshits splintered in their demands. That's a good way of phrasing it, Skiller. Oh, sorry, Egg, I almost missed it. My favorite historic period. Probably the Bronze Age. And if not the Bronze Age, the mid to late Roman Empire. I could prepare topics for those in the future, although nothing really comes to mind, except for the Bronze Age collapse, which is an event that some of you listening may have heard of already. Essentially, the Bronze Age collapse was the first great and historically recorded general societal collapse in the civilized world that was motivated not by internal struggle or war, but by external migration. Yes, the sea people, the migration of the sea people. Yeah, Skiller, that topic is a little too political for me to get into. I'm sorry. Yes. Anyways, the general gist of the Bronze Age collapse is that you had, I believe it was 3 or 4 main powers. You had the Cypriots in Cyprus, you had the Egyptians in Egypt, and you had I believe it was the Assyrians at the time in the Fertile Crescent, and also the Turkish people. Greece had not particularly become civilized and developed yet. They were separate powers. Cyprus was independent because it was isolated by the sea, mostly, and it was a valuable neutral trading partner, kind of like how Switzerland operates with banks and has operated for the past, I believe, 300, 400, 500 years? Too political. I'm playing a game that encourages imperialism without question. How is anything too political? It's too political in that it's referencing the current political climate in a given country. I'm fine with politics and history, but I won't get into current events. And CC, you're playing another game at the moment. Yes. That's a fine topic, and I'll get to it after I'm done with the Bronze Age collapse. So, anyways, you had the Assyrians and Egyptians mostly trading between each other for materials to make bronze. So one has tin, the other has copper. They trade so that they are able to make the alloy that is bronze. Oh, hello, Magical Girl. How are you doing tonight? We're talking about the Bronze Age collapse while we wait for things to happen in Victoria 2. There's that liberal agitation event. You know what? More immigration points. So you have this complicated international society of trade developing, something that is really a quite advanced economic model for the time period. Ah, you just woke up. Ah, nice. How'd you sleep? And I'm sorry to hear that you're not feeling good today. Hope that improves as the day goes on. So you have this intricate economic model of trade internationally, very close to prehistory. And it doesn't hold up to outside stress. It doesn't hold up to outside stress much at all. To the point that an unknown quantity, probably just several thousand, maybe 20,000 militant migrants from... They don't know exactly where they were from, since most of the records have been destroyed. The only real surviving record of these, what are now called sea people, is in Egypt. I believe it's a mural depicting the Egyptians successfully fending off the sea people under the command of their then current pharaoh. But it's believed today that they came from what is modern-day Greece, or perhaps the Bulgarian area. So, actually, since we're playing a game with a global map, and I have my cursor disabled. Perfect. So from this area of the world, or from around Greece, climate cooling and lower crop yields. Yes, the reason is ultimately unimportant. Although it's a nice detail. Thank you, Skiller. The reason why they invaded or migrated is unimportant. The results of what happened are the more important part, I believe. In that society was thrown a complete curveball in the Eastern Mediterranean. So society was thrown a complete curveball in the Eastern Mediterranean here. And the only surviving power in any similar state to as it was before the Sea Peoples invaded was Egypt. And that's kind of where some of the focus on ancient Egypt comes from in history, I think, is that they're one of the only, I guess you could call it a nation state. They're one of the only civilized societies that survived through the ancient period. I'm probably missing a lot of details. I'm definitely missing a lot of details, but I find the Bronze Age collapse to be a very interesting period in history. And there is I believe there's a quite incomplete archaeological record of the time, so if you'd like to go digging around in the Eastern Mediterranean yourself, feel free to start an expedition. I think we're done encouraging intellectuals. So we're going to swap to clerks. We have 3.8% intellectuals, but the research points are maxed out. I think that's fine. I'm not going to waste a national focus slot on encouraging intellectuals in Zealand, the one province Limburg. Oh, Luxembourg wants to ally with us. Sure, why not? That's just points towards us sphering them when we inevitably become a great power, since we are 4 points ahead of Carlist Spain now. More liberal agitation events. We could get reactionary in the upper house, but liberals become militant. I think we'll just take the year of liberal agitation. And they still want political reforms. They really, 40% of the population wants more voting. Oh, Skiller, if that's a link to a playlist on the Bronze Age collapse, thank you for dropping it. I have no way to check that right now at the moment. We can change upper house representation. Or not, since they're changing that would do nothing. 1 year draft is just bad for us because it makes our land units start out weaker. So there's really no reforms here to do, since we're not giving them the vote. Is that the extra credits series? They're all right at a glance. I wouldn't give their words too much weight though. In fact, I know a 40-minute lecture video. I know of a 40-minute lecture video that I can find very quickly, actually. So, more liberals, militancy, consciousness, or... Yeah, let's let the rich be more reactionary. So I'll put it on a screen where it won't make you sick by my mouse continuing to pan. Oh my. Thank you, Windows, for being a broken piece of shit. I'm just going to find the video that I refer to people on the Bronze Age collapse. Give me a moment. There is a lecture that lasts about 40 minutes that I think is quite comprehensive for how short it is. And it's also interesting and has some decent graphics to it. Oh, hello, Kongu! How are you doing tonight? We're just doing a Guerrilla Victoria 2 stream, and we're wrapping up a discussion on the, or really a quite scatterbrained discussion on the Bronze Age collapse. And that second link there is to a 40-minute lecture on just that topic. Ah! Well, I'm happy to accompany you while you exercise. The reason in particular extra credits videos on it are good is because of discussion of multi-system failure. You've got a good point there, Skiller. I think we're going to keep going with the liberal agitation events. Yes, despite copper being quite a malleable material, and those nations being in the Bronze Age, their political and institutional structures were quite set in stone. Tish. And I believe, wrapping back to the other question, or rather the other topic that we had, was just a simple question, what is my favorite gun? Well, my favorite firearm would be the Garand. It's simple, it's effective, it has a high-powered cartridge, it gets the job done. Internal magazine, no hassle. The only thing you gotta worry about is closing the bolt correctly when you pull the charging handle so that you don't give yourself the aptly named Garand thumb. Ah, good, we can institute social reforms. Finally, they're mad enough that we can change society. Oh, Magical Girl, you like that pun. I'm glad you like that pun. I try to make awful jokes like that whenever I can. Yes, the wood. The wood makes it such an excellent rifle to hold. That's a good point, Congo. Oh, thank you for the Prime sub, Cece. What is this event? Luddite mob. The smog from the factories hangs low against the blood red of a charcoal sky. Far away in the depths of the city, in the deepest bowels of the industrial machine, the cries and shouts of a forming mob can be heard echoing against a backdrop of drain pipes and smokestacks. Infuriated over poor working conditions, clamoring for a return to a lost pastoral dream remembered, Luddites take to the streets in Belgium. Okay. Population changed by minus 10%. We're not pressing that button. I don't care what the consequences are. Yes, the Garand. That is my favorite firearm, Cece. I did the opposite. The opposite of what, Magical Girl? I'm sorry I missed the context of that comment. So now we're going to be using the angry citizenry to push for better school systems so that they will educate themselves faster. We are already up to 50% literacy, although it's growing quite slowly. I'm forgetting this tree that increases education efficiency that we should be going down. We'll pick it up after medicine, since medicine has medicine and inorganic chemistry have a couple important pop growth texts. Oh, CC did. Oh, the opposite of unfollowing. I see. That's a good one. Let's just unpause right there. France is trying to demand concessions from the West African nation of Wolof. France flexing their colonial ambitions a bit early, I see. I believe we're waiting for the end of the year for us to be barely sneaking in to the Great Powers list here by 4 points, kicking out Carlist Spain. Are they... No, they're not allied to us anymore after that whole debacle with Prussia demanding Luxembourg be freed. Excuse me for a moment. We're severely neglecting our navy here, which is just two transport ships, which is quite worthless. Simple prestige. Oh, yes, there's a second component to the technology screen called inventions. When you research a technology, you unlock inventions to be researched, which have a random % chance to fire off. I believe it's every month, or it could be every day, I'm not sure. But, yes. So there are major technologies, and then there are inventions associated to those technologies that give minor bonuses. Oh, it's a monthly check. Thank you, Egg. This canned goods factory could probably be expanded, as with the arms factory. On the topic of arms, we are still in the muzzle loading rifle era. We won't have anything that resembles a Mosin or a Garand or a classic wooden rifle until bolt-action rifles in 1900. And I believe a war was just declared. Yes. A war has been declared by Netherlands with Spanish assistance. Hopefully it's against Belgium and we're just lumped in as an accessory. No, the Dutch are coming for their cores. Alright. This just pushes them towards demanding more reforms. So how many divisions? Oh, the Dutch have 10 more divisions than we do. Oh no. I believe the loss of this war will be inevitable, Egg. Look, 2000... How did the Luxembourgians get there? Or the Luxembourgish, I should say. Oh yes, thank you for the congratulations in Magica, Congo. I don't feel like I carried them because I was having such a fun time, but I did take a look back at the VOD and it seemed like I was doing quite a disproportionate amount of damage in that collab. Yes, war is declared, oh no, anyways. I don't know if we can take the Dutch in a straight fight here. I believe that green bar is their morale, and if so, then their morale is quite shit. It's in shambles. A 3 or a 0. My mobilization count is 16 out of 15, 9, 2 out of 10 for the Navy, and then 42 for the flag that I don't know what it means. Ah, yes, we could mobilize the poor, you're correct. Yes, okay, morale, and I know this one's the occupation bar. We could hit the mobilize button. For 9 brigades. That would almost put us to parity with their 26 divisions to our 16. Oh, the flag's leadership, I see. Assuming the AI is awful and did not get the muzzle-loaded rifle technology, we would definitely have a good chance of winning this. Although, if the AI went straight into military tech and got military plans and army professionalism, we are done for. Since the morale is low and we have a very slight numbers advantage, I think it is best to attack them immediately and then just hit the mobilize button and hope for the best as the poor of the nation rush in to help defend. And you do say this does look winnable? Spain is involved on the other side. I don't think this is winnable, but we can definitely fight to the last man. Yes, they're dealing much more damage to us than we are to them. Although we do win the battle. See, we lose... Oh god, we lost 19,000 to their 14,000. Oh, geez. Oh, Spain is a paper tiger, you say? How so? Do they not have any military techs at the start of the game? Oh, and arty tech is the best army tech. Well, medicine is almost done. Once medicine is done, I think we'll be upgrading our artillery, because it seems that the Dutch are using mass infantry tactics. So our losses are actually quite similar in the infantry department. We just lost 2,000 more cavalry and 2,000 more infantry. So the artillery seems to be carrying us a bit, even though our losses are awful. Well, Egg, I'm glad you believe in me. That makes one of us. Especially this is reminding me of the 1 or 2 times I played Europa Universalis 3, where you have to manually hunt down fleeing armies. So what is actually the condition for us exiting this war? Could we peace out Spain individually right now for 0? No. We're at -1. I don't really know how to read the screen, but I'm assuming that this nearly microscopic arrow on the bar. Oh, Spain is plagued by rebels. Ah, I see. I'm assuming this nearly microscopic arrow on the war score bar is telling us how much score we need to demand a peace. In that case, we would need to win quite heavily, and I don't know if that's possible. Demands. Is that their demands on us, or the requirements for us to demand a white peace? Because I would be fine with a white peace here. Although what I would really want is for them to fuck off, give me all their land, and never come back. They're sieging again with no morale. And we are winning this battle quite handily because of that. Apparently the Dutch enjoy sending their men into a veritable meat grinder of an engagement. Well, I wouldn't say it to their face, Congo, but you're right. I would say if we were speaking to France here, I would not say to their face, give us all your land and leave. Because they are a greatly superior force to us, and we have, in this chaos and confusion, we have kicked Carlist Spain off of the Great Power list. And more mobilization is coming in, although that's the last of it. Oh, and because, yes, technology. Muzzle-loaded artillery. Artillery attack increase. Very nice. And the medicine is a very nice upgrade, because it lets us put all of our troops in one province right now, because of the supply limit upgrade. But yes, if we were speaking to France, I would not say to their face, give us all of your land and leave. I'm doing this to the Dutch, because the Dutch are unimportant windmill men that have decided to start a war of aggression in Europe. And remember, it's only a war of aggression if we did not start it. I believe that is 3 for 3 on battles, and they have nearly exhausted their active manpower. So we can begin invading the Netherlands, as Spain shows up late to the party with an underwhelming quantity of troops. Yes. Let's take the military option. And was that a stack wipe? Because I don't see them walking off anywhere. I should probably take it off the highest speed. Show wars. The game still thinks we're losing. Is that right? That -2%? Or is that -2 for the attacker? Okay, so the minus is actually good for us because we are the defender. Okay. That is the strangest way I have seen Paradox make a war score bar yet. Although this game is old compared to Stellaris, Hoi 4, and EU 4. We could support Egypt for free prestige. I don't know if this has lasting consequences, but I like free points. So we siege that province. Spain is going to finish sieging this province. But hopefully we can come and kick them out before they do manage to do any lasting damage. Yes, they're just going to be crushed by overwhelming numbers. Yes, they're outflanked by infantry, and they have they have brought no cannons to the table. Hopefully this is reminiscent of the Civil War where forces are, or World War II, since this is a relevant area to that, being near Calais, where they are just pushed into the sea and gone. I want to see these Spaniards go away. And it looks like they'll be running back to Spain. Or not. Do they want more of it, or will they go back to Spain? I would like to see them go back to Spain. But it seems they want their butts handed to them yet again. And we can worry about the losses we're incurring to our own military after this war is over. So we should unsiege our own province now that Spain is out of the picture. Now that Spain's had their fact they sent towards us demolished, they would not accept a white peace individually. If individual peace deals are even a thing in this game, I don't know. Meanwhile, Luxembourg just getting ignored with their one unit of infantry, sieging down this province from the Netherlands. Ah, good, we have our province back, and the Dutch seem disorganized. Is England in on the war? No. Ah, for the war leader. Ah, I see. Oh no, the Dutch are going after the Luxembourgish. How terrible. Maybe we can join them. Yes. Yes, we're the war leader on the defending side, I believe. Spain's marching in with more pittance troops. Well, cleaning up this is going to be a mess. Yes, this technically is a two-front war with a north and a south front, but thankfully, there's not much distance between the two. That's a good point, Congo. Yes, especially in more accurate military simulation games. Although I wouldn't exactly consider Hearts of Iron 4 to be more accurate, fighting wars on multiple fronts, in those and in reality, is always a nightmare. So Spain has brought some actual troops to the table, although it seems to be entirely infantry. Better schools. Don't mind if I do, just exploiting that timer can be flexed on in war anyways. Our economy's not doing so good, but we have close to £300,000 to spend. And nothing better to spend it on. We can just keep getting tiny amounts of war score by fighting off these minuscule stacks piecemeal. Yes, we are definitely winning this. And it seems we can't really demand peace terms from them, which is unfortunate. Although I guess it makes sense as the defender. Oh, late game wars start to feel like World War I. Is that so? A lot of pop-ups. Only 2 of those were inventions, and the other one is our education getting better. Ah, there's a real Spanish stack. Oh, and they brought cannons this time. Oh. Oh no. Well, we outflank them, so it's best to deal with them since larger stacks siege faster. Oh yes, Spain might send a single person at us next. And since we're in windmill country, they might send Don Quixote. That would be truly scary. Oh no, it looks like Spain got the morale tech. Yes, despite losing. How are our dice rolls? Oh god, our dice rolls are awful. They're rolling consistent 8s. That's why we're losing. Uh-oh. They've knocked us down from nearly double their size to equal and now worse numbers. Oh no. Can we pull a piece out of this? Yet. No. Can we peace with Spain individually? No. Oh my. Well, it seems we're going to be in a heap of trouble here. Yes. Yes, the Spanish held with an incredible leader and godlike roles, so I believe that's the end of our war campaign as the Netherlands siege down Brussels. And we have but 2,000 men at our command. With no reinforcements in sight. And it was looking so well, too. I guess I should have gone after the smaller targets first. My favorite historical general? Oh, that's a tough question. I know he was a troop leader and commander, but I'm not sure if he ever attained the rank of general. Andrew Jackson, for his Stonewall campaign in the... oh gosh, I can't remember the name of the valley. Shenandoah, in his Shenandoah campaign. Andrew Jackson in his Shenandoah campaign for exercising defeat in detail against the Union forces. Oh, he did become a general. Ah, I see. Alexander Suvorov. I'll have to look up that name after this stream. A dude with a long wooden pipe. Zet, I know not of who you speak of. This decision doesn't really matter since we're about to become a non-country. Egg, I don't believe there's anything I can do to salvage this, but if you have any tips that will pull us out of this hole, please speak up. Suvorov is one of the greatest generals of all time and one of the only undefeated generals in history. Oh, that's quite a crowning achievement there. Yes, our reinforcements are quite slow. If it was just the Netherlands or just Spain, I believe we would have won that handily, but that one battle at Spain in good terrain for Spanish. Oh gosh. These decisions don't matter at this point. I'm just waiting for the AI to enforce peace. Yes, best bet is to hope for rebels. There is still a slight chance that they get crushed by rebels. Yeah, looking at these numbers here, the Dutch were nearly defeated. If we'd gone around stack wiping the Dutch, there might not have been anything they could do about it, but Spain would have been a thorn for us at that point. If I were going to do that again without the disastrous battle against the Spanish, I definitely would have run around squishing the individual Dutch stacks. Make my people mad. Is there any specific way to do that? If there is, I don't know of it. Oh, the last generalissimo of the Russian Empire. Ah. That is also an excellent position to hold while being an undefeated general in history. Wow. Swapping political parties to a minor party. Ah, that might work, Egg. Good point. The United Kingdom demands withdrawal from Egypt. Why not? I don't care if they declare a war on us. We're already at war and about to not exist. Yes, salt the earth. We're going to swap to the party that has the least support, so the reactionaries. Rich strata gain militancy, sure. Suppose that helps a bit. There's the good education coming in. 200,000 people quite mad about suffrage, but not mad that we're being occupied. And the Dutch and the Spanish have consolidated in the numbers that we cannot possibly fend against. Yes, the Dutch in history have been known to blow their dams and flood the land. Although, I believe in the Second World War, it was the Germans that popped some of the levies with artillery. Popped the Dutch levies with artillery. And flooded the land so they wouldn't be able to mount a resistance to their invasion campaign. Since to the Germans in World War II, it wasn't a matter for the Dutch of blocking them out of joining the war. It was just making sure that they couldn't resist. Oh, Spacer! Thank you for the raid. I believe you were playing Deserts of Karak. I was watching you for a bit before starting this Guerrilla stream. How did your Karak go? We're losing to the Oh, there's the rebel stacks. Excellent. Well, we might not be losing now, but we are definitely out of a military. Yes, welcome to those who are raiding. I believe, now that we can't see anything, we're out of military, and all of our land has been occupied. And we have lost! Excellent! Perfect timing for that raid! Alright, well, we were annexed by the Dutch with the help of Spain. Don't lose! A little late for that, don't you think? Ah. Well, it's a little late for me right now. It's approaching the turn of an hour after midnight. Although I suppose we could go again. We could go again, perhaps with a less precarious nation such as Sardinia Piedmont. Yes, letting stacks stay alive, yes. Although, that wasn't really so much as letting stacks stay alive as it was going after the large Spanish stack before crushing all of the individual Dutch stacks. Time to play Prussia, oh gosh. Hongo, I haven't started as a great power yet. It's almost easier to learn the game as a secondary power, I think. Although I suppose we could try Prussia, since my reservations... Yes, there was a bit of a blunder right before you came in. We had a disastrous battle with the Spanish in the marshlands of Belgium, trying to defend from annexation by the Dutch. I suppose we could try playing Prussia. The thing is, I don't know how the situation with all of these small states in North Germany actually plays out. Prussia grinds your face into the sphere mechanic. Oh god. I don't really know, I can't really profess to know how the sphere mechanic works all that well. Like, is there even diplomatic annexation in this game, or do you have to conquest militarily any land that you wish to hold yourself? Since I know that sphering economically makes them subservient to your market before they can reach the world market. So if you sphered Bavaria, and they had a lot of coal, and they wanted to sell their coal to Austria, if you wanted that coal first, that Bavaria would have to give you, Prussia, the coal before it could reach Austria. Oh, economic annexation is usually good enough. Ah. I suppose that's one way of looking at it. So, there's a choice to be made here. Prussia or Brazil? I'm thinking they would both be equal torment to me for different reasons. Brazil is a tougher country to play, some say, but Prussia is just a daunting monolith in my mind. Not Brazil, Magical Girl says. Brazil, come to Brazil. Alright. I think the Brazils have it. So we are exercising the call of the people and coming to Brazil. So what exactly is our starting position here? There are the RGO icons. We have a lot of coffee and really bad population in provinces, but I suppose acceptable state-level population. The Day One War. Hold on, Egg. You didn't tell me anything about a Day One War. Is there a war with Paraguay or something over this Iguatemi province or something? I would assume that's the case. Oh, civil war in the south. Ah, yes, the diplomatic situation. War of the Farrapos. With Rio Grande do Sul. Oh. Well, they have 4 infantry divisions and 1 cavalry division. We have 7 and 3, respectively. With an okay general. I think if we just smack our armies into each other, we would win. Yes, we're no longer going to Rio. We are in Rio. So tech. How's our industry is abysmal. Our culture is awful. Our commerce is non-existent. Our navy is made of paper. And our army is barely functional. Welcome to Brazil. What an excellent welcome to Brazil. What a country indeed. Hati? Do you mean Haiti, or is there an African nation named Hati I don't know of? I think you're referring to Haiti, Egg. Rank 74. a dictatorship with 0 brigades, sphered by Spain, not sphered by anybody. Oh god, you might be right. Wait, they have 0 technology! Oh god, that's terrible. So there should... yeah, okay, so we can recruit another... It says 2 more, but this part of the interface is saying 1 more, so... I suppose we should start with the cannons. Cannons win wars. Oh, I'm forgetting. Bureaucrats first. Because they're much easier to get up. And where's Bahia? Barra, Campanias, Constance... Bahia. Okay. So this is our 2nd most populous province area. This is our 1st most populous. The only hottie here is me. Oh. Don't. I'm shaking my finger at you. Don't fluster me like this. I didn't get that until I said it out loud. And yet, yeah, I'm unsure about the unciv mechanics egg. I believe you did mention that they... Oh, where did all of those brigades come from? They seem to have materialized extra troops out of nothing. Christ, they must have pressed their mobilize button. Well, sure, let's do that too. Well, I think they pressed the mobilize button based on the single brigade trickle in here. But you might be right, they had some more in the south. I can't imagine they have a better navy, though. So we can blockade them pretty freely, I would imagine. Now, where are these mobilizees? Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, no. I should have just played Prussia, since they wouldn't be in such a position from the get-go. Oh, you had to, did you? I see. Well, I'll let it slide, Cece. We're just going to have to let them siege a couple provinces while our troops trickle in. I don't even know if we... Oh god, the supply limits here are awful. 17... Oh god, we're taking attrition out the wazoo. And our economy is at minus 200. Maybe this is why nobody goes to Brazil. South American Dreadnought arms race. Oh god. Spacer, Brazil in the current century has trouble constructing a nuclear reactor with outside help. I struggle to imagine how they would manage to build a Dreadnought in 1836. It would probably be built out of paper mache and ceramic and stink of fish. Yes, no matter the time period, people don't come to Brazil. Okay, so we have more than double their number here. I believe we can take them in a head-on fight, despite the massive losses to attrition that we must be experiencing. Yes, you are right, it is technically an empire. Technically. By size alone, not by any measure of quality, apparently. Okay, so now we have to siege all of this land back and then go smack them in the face and siege their land. And we're down into 6,000. We have no factories! And I would imagine very few capitalists. Oh, and we're a slave state. Oh, gosh. Landowners. 0% capitalists. Even in our capital. Oh no. Huh. Oh, they were racing for dreadnoughts in the early 20th century, Spacer. Ah, back when people had already moved on to total ironclads and air warfare. I see. Yes, always ahead of the curve. Oh, and we have 5% literacy. Quite the country, Brazil. Oh, dreadnoughts built out of coffee husks. That must be more accurate, Congo. You're right. Well, this is already abysmal, and since our economy is entirely based off of selling resources to other countries, and one of those resources is just a straight export of coffee, which is where most of our people live, I would imagine that we need wineries, probably. We can't even afford a winery without taking a loan. Alright. Can we afford a winery right now? Too many provinces. Just hit this button. No, we cannot. Welp. Alright. That loan was probably an awful decision then. Spacer, 5% of what? I'm sorry, I missed the context. And yes, 5% literacy, yes. Every time we look at a number, this gets worse. Oh, Lord. Brazil is probably the best nation in South America. Well, where's the coal? There's 4 iron provinces, mostly in Chile and Bolivia. And there should be 2 coal provinces. Yes, I see. I see what you were talking about, Egg, with how this is truly the backwateriest of backwaters. Well, we took a loan to keep us from getting into debt, but it seems that we're going to be stuck in debt for all eternity. Looking at the resources provided to us, we have a lot of coffee, but we also have some fruit. Fruit can be turned into wine. We have this type of tropical wood, which turns into rubber much, much, much later. And we have rubber right now. Oh, I see. And then as for actual wood-producing provinces, we have 2 provinces that produce lumber that we can turn into actual furniture. So I think furniture and wine would be what we want to build factories for. What can you do with tropical wood, Egg? Luxury furniture? Migrants. Why would you want to migrate to Brazil? Oh, and the slaves are getting uppity, and we've lost half of our military straight to attrition. And the Southerners think they are winning. Yes, we could run around with a navy that we don't quite have, forcing people to come to Brazil. You're right about that. That would be the only way we would manage to drag people into this sad sack of a country. Oh yeah, Brazil is better than being in Europe fighting the Dutch right now. Or the Spanish. I'd rather be over here in Brazil than back staring down 40,000 Spaniards in the Low Countries. No, that's a scary thought, Spacer. Brazil coming to you. See, this is awful. Since movement doesn't get locked in after about half or so, you can just move and then cancel your move, and then your armies never get to meet each other. See, like that. If we had swapped to move to the province that he was moving towards, he would have just stood in place. All of these negative events. And you know what? We can just outlaw slavery immediately, but it's probably better... Actually, apart from the trade unions, this looks alright, so I think we'll put some trade points on trade unions and then outlaw slavery. Gotta get the one reform in there. I like the trade union reforms, Egg. I really do. Oh, we can't tax slaves. Oh, that might be why our budget's so awful. I forgot to do the slider gimmick. Yes, where you tax everybody and tariff at the maximum possible value. You're right. Thank you for reminding me about taxes. I try not to think too hard about taxes. And this bureaucrat encouragement is going quite poorly. Our administrative efficiency is still in the toilet. Yeah, the entire trick to the budget screen is max out all of the sliders, except for military spending. Encouraging capitalists is actually very bad. You're wasting a national focus slot, essentially, because it takes so long to encourage them. It's better to just get the conditions in your country right to the point where they'll promote. That's one thing I noticed playing around as Sardinia Piedmont the other day. And Sardinia Piedmont is a historic country, and part of Italy that's this nice toothpaste blue. Where did they get 12,000 troops from? Oh god, this is going to end horribly again, isn't it? Because of jungle attrition. Ah, yes, they're flinging monkeys at... How is it that a nation with a grand total of, it seems, 110,000 people to its name, managing to send now, I believe, 40,000 total troops at us, when we could barely scrounge together 50 out of 1.5 million? It really must be the monkey's pig. You're probably onto something. They start with higher soldier pops. Ah, yes, gaming the pop system. Everybody down here ready to go to war. Everybody in Greater Brazil content to chop trees and farm coffee until the day they die. Truly a sad state of affairs. The Soviet Union of South America. You know, I think Colombia might be closer to that. Since around this time period, the Bolivar Rebellion states along the western coast of South America were much more militant. Well, we can't mobilize any more than we already are. And we're out of pops to recruit. Can we just white piece these folks? No, since we're the aggressor. Wait. Oh, they would accept us annexing them? Okay, no. Okay, I'm reading that backwards. Well, there's that education efficiency coming in for us. Not that it's going to help much. Yeah, I could white piece them. Yeah. They outnumber us quite heavily. Well, they can stay free for now, I guess. Unless they declined... They declined a white piece the game said they would accept. Probably because I demobilized immediately. Oh god, that's such a gamey mechanic. Jeez. No breaks. Oh, there was a peace offer I didn't see. Oh gosh, I really am blind. So that is actually probably with how late it is for me, I really do need to get my sleep back on track. I have another stream scheduled for later today now. Uh, I should probably be getting off going to bed. So before I do that, I will see if there is anywhere that I can send you folks. Demobilizing and remobilizing is a tactic. A tactic that I do not yet know how to exploit. Perhaps in another Guerrilla Victoria 2 stream, I can learn to exploit that tactic. I think when I come back to this next, I will probably be playing in Italy, since that is my comfort zone. Ah, I see. Yes, until next time, Congo. Thank you for showing up. It was quite pleasant having you in the chat here as well. Well, I have nobody on my radar to raid right now. So I will be taking suggestions. If anybody has any suggestions. Ah, yes, thank you all for showing up. At such an odd hour, too. Oh, the chickens! You're right, Pig! We could raid the chickens! That is an excellent suggestion. Yes, nobody on either platform. This is truly dead hours. These hours are quite devoid of life, but we will be raiding the sleeping chickens shortly. Let me just plug that into the interface. Well, I'm glad I can provide a couple hours of comfort at an unexpected time. This went a lot smoother than I thought it would, considering that I had no prepared topics today. Well, I'm glad you thought it was fun, too. Oh, you're at work, Pig? Ah, I see. Well, I'm glad that I can bring some variance to your workday. Oh, deafened until you break, I see. Well, we'll be raiding the chicken channel shortly. Where was I? Yes. Yes. This went a lot smoother than I thought it would. I normally prepare a lot of content for streams so that I don't trip over my words so much or get too lost in nothingness in my head, but this went surprisingly well for me. I think I'll do another one of these again at some point. Have a good night, everybody, and thank you for coming. Have fun with the chickens.